Hi, Chris here. So it's time to finally do a flyby of the moon. We're just going to be using a probe, nice simple mission. Um, Obviously we don't want to ever do one thing at a time. So we're also going to try and do a couple of contracts. These are very valuable contracts using high altitude RT5 and an in-orbit RT10. So that's going to make us lots and lots of money, lots of science, while we're doing a probe mission. And the probe is going to run out of power before we actually reach the moon. There's no way to avoid that without using photovoltaic cells, and we haven't unlocked the science for that. So we just have to accept the fact that we're going to run out of power. It would be nice. It would be nice to go past the moon, get some temperature scans, some nice simple science, and transmit them back. But it's just not an option. So let's send her up. This rocket's going to be a little bit wobbly. Got lots of weight on top. It's quite tall. Okay, so I have got a little SAS module, because otherwise we'd have no way of controlling it. And that uses a bit more power. So we've got quite a lot of drain on our powers. There we go, second stage. Using lots and lots of these solid boosters just to get us up. Obviously I'd like to be able to complete both of the science contract, but it's going to be quite challenging to use these science contracts. So the RT5s I'm going to burn next. Okay, looking good so far. I'm turning as fast as I can. It's not really enough, but it'll have to do. Got a little bit of an angle on. Okay, so we're going to get into orbit. To get to the moon, we're going to get to orbit. Then we're going to target... we get set target to the moon. Then we make an adjustment 90 degrees to the moon's point in our orbit. And do a forward burn. And this should give us a very efficient intercept. So we're just going to have the periapsis is going to be next to the Kerbal, but we're going to push the orbit out, so apoapsis is going to be intercepting with the moon. Now in this case we're just going to drift past the moon, then probably just go straight back to an orbit in ground Kerbal. But that doesn't really matter, it's just going to be a dead orbiter after that, so it'll have no power on board. Okay, so we're waiting for these objective requirements to complete. So we need to have enough altitude to complete the RT5 burn. There we go. I'll just wait for the maximum. And go. Make sure it's lined up. Just want to get it on the horizon. There we go. And that's contract completed. Ooh, look at it. It really doesn't want to go straight. There we go. They don't burn for very long, those RT5s. I'm not going to be able to get orbit before I activate the RT10. So that's going to be a failure to complete that quest. I'll burn it anyway, obviously. It'll help me get up to orbit. Then detach that and activate my final engine. Make sure I'm lined up properly. I've got no SAS on board, so it's quite difficult to control. The SAS on the previous missions came from the pilot, And obviously I don't have a pilot on board now because it's a probe. More advanced probes do have stability assistance, so you can get exactly the same control as if you had a top level pilot, if you have an expensive probe. They use more power and stuff, but they're generally a good investment. Certainly it's good to have one at least that has stability. But unfortunately I don't have unlocked yet, so we're just going to go with what we've got. I am descending at the moment, but should be able to make orbit. And hopefully I'll have plenty of fuel left to travel out to the moon. 48,000 still going. Oh, it's going to be difficult. I want to get it over 60 at least. There you go. If you go below 60, you really begin to slow down quite harsh. So I'll point at 90 degrees. I'll keep burning. And there we go. So now I'll throttle down. There's the moon, set target. So you see I've got those dotted lines. Those dotted lines are the ascending and descending node. If I was at a strange angle, if I hadn't burned directly at 90 degrees, I'd be on a different plane than the moon. So I'd have to change my plane by rotating the angle of my orbit to be the same as that of the moon. Minmus has a orbit which is at a funny angle, so you have to do that. There's no way of avoiding it unless you burn at precisely the right angle when taking off, which is a bit more fiddly. It's much easier to just set target and then set your maneuver at an ascending, descending node, and just adjust it so you're on the same plane. Right, so I'm going to time accelerate till I reach the maneuver. Hopefully I'll be able to do it. You see my power is draining quite fast. Line her up. Now I'm just using a trick there. You see my speed move, my rotation stopped immediately. Just using time accelerator does that. I'm then going to spin her up in a rotation, and if you're spinning, it's much easier to keep travelling in a straight direction. You're not going to drift, and the reason is you've got angular momentum, and the angular momentum stops you getting a sideways momentum anywhere nearly as easily. So if you haven't got SES, rotating like this really helps you get precision maneuvers. So I'm nearly there now. Just going to slow down a lot for the last bit of the throttling. Still got lots of power left. Though I've only half the amount of power. And the probe's draining power, you see. So no matter what I do, it will eventually run out well before I reach the moon. My contract's only for a flyby though, so I just got to go near it and it's complete. I don't have to transmit sites, I don't have to gather anything, I don't have to recover the vessel. There we go. Right, it's good interception. Just clear this contract. Yeah, that's the RT5 one, isn't it? Right, so let's time accelerate. You want to do this in orbit so you don't overshoot it. I'll do this by hand. Obviously you could do it automatically. You've got a warp 2 function. You get the warp 2 function by upgrading both your contract department and your tracking station. And that's how you get all these maneuvers and stuff. You just need to upgrade both of those once, which costs you about 500,000 credits. There's the moon. And we're just about to get into the area. Oh, I've just hit the wrong button. Right, we have done a flyby of the moon.